History is full of firsts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, I hope everyone can enjoy.
Calls in the storms Thursday.
Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
This is the first time in a long they had 11. Send us some of your men.
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following his
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
We begin this midday with that mess on the Southwest Freeway where an overturned 18-wheeler spilled its load. Sky 2 flew over that scene earlier this morning in Rosenberg. You were looking at what's being described as pig parts spread across the road. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Sirota.
Good morning. I'm Tanaya Wright. We first brought you this story as breaking news on Channel 2 News Today. Channel 2's Vincent Crivelli joins us now live from the scene where crews, Vincent, still out there working to clean up this mess.
Tanaya, good morning. This single vehicle crash happened about 6 hours ago, and workers are still here cleaning it up. The wrecked semi-truck was towed away, but there is still a lot of work to do, including more pig parts to pick up. The semi-truck mangled, windshield shattered, broken hood, and metal container cracked with 42,000 pounds of pig parts spilling out.
I'm probably going to go to the hospital. My neck really starting to hurt.
The driver had some visible injuries.
Yeah.
His arm sliced in 3 places.
I'm a little cut up here and there. He got hurt. His little leg got hurt.
His dog Whopper didn't have much to say. However, he was in good spirits.
Whopper, good boy.
The truck driver didn't provide his name, but he blames the crash on another driver.
Like literally on that curve, just cut me off. And it didn't just cut me off, it almost sideswiped me.
Then the truck rolled and slammed into the ground. He became trapped inside.
So I started smashing the window until I got out.
You were worried there might be a fire, an explosion?
Yeah, I was getting him. I just started smashing it with whatever I had metal.
He kicked his way to freedom thanks to these steel-toe boots. Then he became a spectator as his truck was chained up, pulled up, and flipped over. After his truck was towed away, workers began scooping up load after load after load of pig parts and debris, then dumping them in an empty container. No doubt a messy situation. However, it could have been much worse. The driver thankful he and his pup will live another day. I also want to point out that traffic is down to 1 lane and backed up. The truck driver says he was taking the load of frozen pig parts from Illinois to the valley. And guys, I think it's safe to say these pigs won't be making it to the market. Reporting live in Fort Bend County, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Vince, thank you very much. We now know the name of the woman who was killed last night in a car crash. Deputies say Lauren Steptoe drifted into oncoming traffic. This happened on FM 2234 near FM 521. Deputies tell us Steptoe had her 9-year-old daughter in the car. Thankfully, the child was not hurt. We are told the driver of the other vehicle that was hit suffered serious injuries. Right now, investigators don't believe alcohol played a role in the crash, and no charges have been filed.
A traffic alert we need to tell you about right now. You can expect some major closures on the West Loop at the Southwest Freeway this weekend once again. Northbound and southbound lanes of the 610 West Loop and the Southwest Freeway will be closed from 9 o'clock tonight until 5 a.m. on Monday morning. Crews are going to be out there hanging beams and other related work for a new connector ramp. The construction is set for every weekend this month.
Yeah, traffic may be a nightmare in that area this weekend, but our weather is shaping up to be pretty nice, though.
I know. The cold temperatures moving out. It's gonna be beautiful.
We've been really lucky. I mean, we've had years where every weekend it seems like it rains. Well, we've had a lot of weekends of great weather, and this weekend is no exception. And in fact, right now we're kind of kicking off the weekend early. I mean, look outside. We have beautiful sunshine. It was a cold start. We had temperatures drop to the 30s here in town, the upper 20s in Conroe. But look at the rebound. 28 degrees in Conroe this morning, and now you're up to 62 degrees. That southwest wind working its magic. We're going to continue to have our warm up. So we'll stack on a few more degrees out there. It's a little breezy, a few wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour. And keep in mind, we do have high levels of tree pollen. So if you have allergies, the wind's going to be picking up that pollen. That's the only thing you want to think of if you do have allergy issues. But the weather, enjoy it. 70 degrees. This evening's forecast looks great. We'll get down to the 50s after 8 p.m. So if you do have later dinner plans, I do recommend a light jacket. Meanwhile, as we head into next week, rain chances go right back up. It looks like a fairly unsettled work week. We'll take a look at the extended forecast coming up next. Tanaya, over to you.
Thank you, Britta. Turning now to the very latest in the coronavirus. A U.S. government flight from Wuhan, China is now in Vancouver. Some 50 Canadians were on board. The passengers will transfer to a second flight chartered by the Canadian government to a base to join the rest of the evacuees. There are 5 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Canada so far. All passengers will spend the next 2 weeks on that base, where they are going to be monitored. And dozens more people on a quarantine cruise ship in Japan will have now been diagnosed with coronavirus. That includes 8 Americans, and the death toll now includes a prominent doctor who first raised the alarm about the virus. NBC's Molly Hunter reports now from Hong Kong.
At the epicenter of the outbreak, the death rate in Wuhan is more than 4%, according to official counts. For the 11 million residents, a sense of fear and abandonment setting in.
The people are just really scared to even become sick, and they're definitely not going to the hospital, because it could be worse than staying at home.
The doctor who first raised the alarm and was reprimanded for doing so has died after being infected himself. Dr. Li Wenliang, now held up as a hero, posts on social media about the 33-year-old being read billions of times. But 1,500 miles from the epicenter, on the quarantined Diamond Princess anchored near Tokyo, 61 people on board have now tested positive for coronavirus. One of today's new patients, Rebecca Frazier, who is one of 8 infected Americans on board.
Are you feeling sick? Were you feeling sick?
I don't really feel sick. I had a little bit of a cough, but, nothing significant.
The 35-year-old was halfway through a dream vacation to Japan with her husband, Kent.
Yeah, I'm completely shocked by this.
Our conversation today cut short as she was taken to the hospital.
Someone's knocking on our door. They're here to take you right now.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, Rebecca, good luck. We're thinking about you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Bye-bye.
Now, Rebecca will go to the hospital alone. Her healthy, uninfected husband can't come with her. She'll be there for 3 days of treatment, they've told her. And then, assuming she gets better, she'll go back to the cruise ship to finish out her quarantine. Molly Hunter, NBC News, Hong Kong.
Happening today, State Representative Jean Wu, along with community leaders, will address coronavirus concerns here in Houston. That news conference will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You'll remember the Houston Health Department shut down rumors circulating about the virus. Those rumors focused on the Jusco supermarket, saying it had been closed, but that was never true.
Astronaut Christina Cook is now back in Houston this morning.
That's right. Johnson Space Center tweeted out a picture of Cook hugging friends and family. Cook landed in Kazakhstan early yesterday morning after spending 328 days at the space station. That's the longest mission by a woman in space. Now she'll be the focus of studies on the effects space has on women.
A severe weather outbreak, people living along the East Coast dealing with everything from tornadoes to even snow.
Yeah, coming up, we are taking a look at some of the hardest hit areas and the efforts to clean up debris.
And hidden treasure, a centuries-old log cabin uncovered during a demolition. Coming up, the plan to preserve its history. Developing this midday, firefighters are now working to learn what caused a hotel fire that left one person dead, 4 others were injured. That fire broke out overnight in Los Angeles. More than 100 firefighters managed to knock it down in just under an hour. One man in that hotel says he actually saw someone who needed help.
When I came in, I saw the one person. He jumped out of his room. He was like doing like this, fire, and I saw fire on his body. I mean, I would say his clothes, so I told him come out, and then I called 911.
The people who were injured were taken to the hospital. Some of them were told in critical condition. No firefighters were hurt.
A nasty storm is still making a big mess up and down the East Coast following deadly storms that caused tornadoes, flooding, and snow.
That's right. Today, survivors, first responders, and even power crews are busy helping the communities now to pick up the pieces. NBC's Kathy Park reports now from Buffalo, New York.
A big portion of the country waking up to a late winter wallop. Snow falling from Tennessee all the way to New England. The hardest hit areas, upstate New York and Maine, which could see up to 2 feet of snow. In the south, the intense rain and wind making a mess. The weather quickly going from bad to worse.
Well, they're driving in a tornado.
Strong storms toppled trees onto homes and power lines, and one tree even came crashing down on a busy Georgia highway, clipping a passing car. Firefighters in Florida rescued a woman and her dog after a tree fell on their mobile home, trapping them inside. The woman later airlifted to a trauma center. In Tennessee, a 4th grade teacher was killed after a tree slammed into this van carrying city workers. At least 3 additional weather-related deaths have been reported across the South. Heavy rain soaked parts of South Carolina, turning roads into rushing rivers. This group of about 30 workers had to be rescued from a flooded building in Greenville.
I can't swim, so we need help.
In North Carolina, a home surveillance camera captured a possible twister as it raced through the backyard.
Kathy Park, NBC News.
To Decision 2020, Joe Walsh has ended his presidential campaign. Walsh was challenging President Trump in the Republican primary. His decision to quit comes after he suffered a crushing loss in the Iowa GOP caucuses. He received only 1% of the vote.
The impeachment trial of President Trump is now officially over. Now he's touting his acquittal at several high-profile events and even sparring with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. During Thursday's prayer breakfast, President Trump lashed out at many of his critics, including the House Speaker, saying that he does not think Pelosi prays at all. The House Speaker fired back, saying, quote, he's talking about things that he knows little about, faith and prayer. While they continue to exchange words, Republicans have asked the Treasury Department for suspicious activity reports on former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter.
Am I saying anybody broke the law? We don't know yet. But we have a moral and a legal obligation to find out.
We need to provide the information to the American people so they can make a good decision in November.
Also, the Washington Post reports this morning that Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the national security aide who testified against President Trump, is being reassigned to the Pentagon.
The sex abuse trial against singer R. Kelly in New York is moving forward. Jury selection is officially set for July. At least 400 jurors are expected to be summoned for this trial. Once selected, the trial is expected to begin July 7th. Kelly is charged with kidnapping and sexual exploitation of a child.
Hidden treasure found under layers of modern construction in siding. Now, the building sits in a Pennsylvania town, and it's actually much older than it looks. It's a centuries-old log cabin. There are estimates that it dates back to the 1700s. The building was found after the town cracked down on blighted properties. The building was a former barn and had been condemned. A contractor was tearing it down when he uncovered this hidden piece of history.
He said it's very much salvageable, and he couldn't believe it himself what we uncovered here, and he said it's definitely worth saving.
Local officials want to preserve the cabin and move it to a different location. They say it will have to be carefully taken down by hand and put together somewhere else. Pretty neat there.
Yeah. Meteorologist Britta Merwin joining us now. Boy, a drastic improvement in our temperatures as we just in time for the weekend.
I know, and what a swing. I mean, we were down to the upper 20s in Montgomery County, North Liberty County this morning, and now we're back to the 60s. So hope you enjoyed our taste of winter. It's gone for now. I mean, we'll probably still see some cooler temperatures between now and the beginning of March, but definitely moving into some more spring-like temperatures over the next few days. Here's a live look outside. Beautiful sunshine out there. That's warming us up. We're in the mid-60s right now across town. Currently, we're at 62 degrees in Conroe. Still holding on to the upper 50s in Navasota and Anahuac. 63 degrees in Katy, 65 in Pearland. Galveston right now also in the mid-60s. Our winds are coming in from the southwest, so that is a dry, warm breeze. And we're expecting a really nice, comfortable afternoon. If you do have allergies, we still have high levels of tree pollen, and with winds gusting around 25 to 30 miles per hour, that can make you slightly uncomfortable, but it is going to nicely warm us up. We're expecting about 70 degrees today. As we head into the evening forecast, we'll keep it in the 60s as late as about 7, 8 o'clock, and then it will get cooler tonight, so have a jacket with you. But this afternoon, I mean, beautiful. Temperatures above average for this time of year. 71 degrees in Navasota, 70 in Conroe. Will be around 70 here in the metro area, and mid to upper 60s at the coast. We do have a ridge of high pressure clearing out the skies as we go into tomorrow. A little more cloud cover because our winds coming in off of the Gulf will bring in a little more humidity, but a beautiful Saturday. We'll have cool mornings over the weekend, but our afternoons very comfortable. As we get into Sunday evening, a slight shower possible. We have these weather systems passing to the north of us, which keep us fairly unsettled for the majority of next week. Daily rain chances, and then on Wednesday, it looks like one of these fronts will actually cross through. Behind it, some cooler and drier air. So towards the end of the 10-day forecast, you're going to see that temperature drop and a little more sunshine in the forecast. Over all of next week, we're anticipating 2 to 4 inches of rain. So again, if that happens over 5 days, it's beneficial. We're actually pretty dry here in southeast Texas, but we don't want to get too much in one day, so we'll continue to watch it closely. Right now, it looks like Monday and Wednesday will be the sloppiest of the 2 days. Notice behind the cold front on Wednesday, we do start to clear things out with cooler air and a little more sunshine moving in by Valentine's Day. But a lot of 70s out there, pretty mild, and this weekend's going to be dry, so enjoy it before we bring in those rain showers for next week. And it looks like next week we can take a break from having the sprinklers on.
Britta, sounds good. Thanks so much. Car seat recall. Hundreds of them are coming off store shelves. The feature that could put newborn babies in danger.
When was the last time you changed a tire? It's a good idea to know you have all the tools you need and know where they are in an emergency. I'm consumer expert Amy Davis with details of a free car clinic that'll teach you everything you ought to know.
Good morning. In consumer news this Friday, parents of newborns really need to pay attention to this recall alert. It involves Infantino soft infant and toddler carriers. You can see it right here. The buckles on this carrier can break, causing your child to fall. These carriers were sold at Target and other stores nationwide. They have a black body, black straps, or a gray body and black straps. Experts say you should stop using these immediately and contact the company for a free replacement.
Netflix is giving you more control over what you watch on its platform. The company announcing it's allowing viewers to disable its preview autoplay. If you log on to Netflix, a preview of the featured program immediately starts playing, and if you scan too slowly, a preview then plays for each selection that you land on. The streaming service posted on its help page how you can turn off both preview autoplay and autoplays for episodes.
Amazon continues to try and reduce its carbon footprint. It is now developing 100,000 custom electric delivery vans, which is the largest order in history. The tech giant is teaming up with Rivian, an emissions-free electric vehicle company. Amazon says it's trying to build the most sustainable transportation fleet in the entire world. This order is part of the climate pledge, Amazon's commitment to meet the Paris Agreement 10 years early.
So all this week, we've been sharing what you ought to know about buying a car. But once you get a new vehicle, the learning doesn't stop.
It really doesn't. Consumer expert Amy Davis visited a Houston repair shop that has made it their mission to teach drivers about their vehicles so their car will last longer.
How to change a tire, what to do when certain lights pop up on your dash, and what questions to ask when you take your car in for repairs. One shop in North Houston teaches all of these things in free clinics it hosts throughout the year.
At the Liberty Hopeful Garage on North Shepherd, they'll fix your car, but they also want you to understand what's going on under your hood.
We're in the business to help people extend the life of their vehicle.
It's why Catherine Vanderpool and her husband Sibrin started a free ladies' car clinic.
We cater this clinic to women. This men usually think they know everything. Now there is maximum.
But if you're not a know-it-all, they won't turn you away whatever your gender. For example, did you know an illuminated check engine light should be checked out, but it's not an emergency? If that light is blinking, your problem just became a lot more serious. And if the check gauges light comes on, hit the brakes.
Stop driving your car. Call a tow truck because you're not driving it if you want to save your vehicle.
At the free clinic, they'll pop your trunk and show you how to change a tire.
If you don't have a lug wrench, you're not going to be able to change your tire. And we need to know where that equipment is stored on your car because every car is in a different spot.
And how to use a penny to find out when you need new tires.
That's usually the distance between the top of Lincoln's head on a penny and the edge.
Vanderpool says the biggest mistake Houston drivers make is following the standard schedule for oil changes in your owner's manual, because she said there's nothing standard about our traffic or our heat.
Every car in Houston needs to be on the severe duty schedule, so that means that the oil change intervals should generally be a little shorter.
The next free ladies' car clinic is February 18th. It's 3 hours long, and there are just 10 spots at each clinic, so you do have to call to register. We've got the phone number to the Liberty Hopeful Garage on click2houston.com. And at the end of the summer, they also do car clinics for young student drivers. I'm consumer expert Amy Davis, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Grab the kids and your family for some epic fun. It is Monster Jam weekend in Houston.
We have got a preview from NRG Stadium, and we'll tell you how much the tickets are going to cost.
I'm health reporter Haley Hernandez. Fact or fiction? This cold weather means you're more at risk for a cold. I'll answer next.
Now here's Channel 2's Robert Arnold with a story you'll see all new tonight at 10.
Neighborhood priests accused of abuse and pulled from parishes across the country.
The problem is, where are they? Do they have access to children? No one knows anything.
So where are these priests now? Where do these priests go after being accused?
As long as there is accessibility, there is vulnerability.
Channel 2 Investigates is on the trail tonight at 10.
Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
Good morning. Tonight, Andy here with a look at some of our top stories on this Friday. TxDOT is cleaning up quite the mess in Fort Bend County.
Yeah, that's where an 18-wheeler rolled over, spilling frozen pork products all over the Southwest Freeway. The driver of the big rig says someone cut him off, causing him to turn over. He didn't want to give us his name, but says he managed to climb out by kicking out a window. The driver was on his way to the valley.
A quarantine coronavirus plane from China is scheduled to arrive at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio in about 30 minutes. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the people who will be on this flight are coming from the epicenter, Wuhan, China. Now, they do not know exactly who's going to be on this flight, whether they are students, government employees, or even people who were there on vacation. We just know that they're Americans. All of those passengers will be screened.
A visitation will be held this evening for Liberty County Sheriff's Deputy Richard Whitten. It begins at 5 o'clock at Neal Funeral Home on Washington Avenue in Cleveland. His funeral is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Sanctuary Church, that is also in Cleveland. Deputy Whitten died on Tuesday while he was in physical therapy. He was recovering from being shot in the neck by a murder suspect last May. Monster Jam will be roaring its way through Houston this weekend. Massive monster trucks flying through the air, smashing cars and kicking up all that dirt. We've got a preview from NRG where the dirt is all ready. If you go, you'll be able to see These 12,000-pound machines doing twists and turns and going up to 70 miles per hour.
Wow.
We spoke to Brianna Mahone, who drives the truck Whiplash. She says the show will be a great time.
You know, I always tell people you'll pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge, because I know that nobody in here stays seated. Everyone gets excited, and the louder that they cheer for us, the harder we go, because we can't hear them inside of these trucks. Even though they're so loud, we feel the vibe of the crowd.
The family-friendly, action-packed show kicks off tomorrow at NRG Stadium. Ticket prices start at $15.
Looks like a good time. Well, it is Hollywood's biggest night, the Academy Awards, and it's happening this weekend. The Dolby Theater will play host to the movie industry's top talents. Now, aside from the awards themselves, there's always a great after party. Wolfgang Puck and company are putting together the menu. 70% of it is going to be plant-based offerings. This year's biggest drama is Best Picture with The Irishman and Marriage Story. Those are the early frontrunners. The 92nd Academy Awards are Sunday night.
And speaking of the weekend, we should talk about our weather. Should we let Cambrell know the good news?
I know, Cambrell.
That the check's in the mail?
Yes.
It is paid.
Take our money.
Absolutely. You should be, and only the crunchy stuff. No jingle, okay?
Exactly.
And we're starting out with this weekend. Look at today.
Wow.
Beautiful day. Came in, that's very pleasant. Upper 60s. We love that sort of thing, don't we? 64 right now, 63, 65. Galveston's at 66, on the way up to the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. So sunny, breezy this afternoon with the upper 60s mostly. We'll peak up to 70 for some of you. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny near 70 degrees. And then Sunday, mostly cloudy. We start to get those clouds into play, and then some afternoon showers, but they're not going to affect anything. And look what's going on right now, mid 60s. Notice the camera shaking a little bit there? That's because it's on the breezy side. That southwest now turning from the south wind, 15 miles an hour sustained in Wharton, and Katie's at 20. So we'll see that throughout the afternoon, but the exact track radar is quiet, not only for us, but the rest of the state as well. Hour-by-hour forecast for us then throughout the day. Going to be close to 70 degrees, plenty of sunshine. We'll see some changes coming, and next week, oh boy, we're going to really look back and try to remember this forecast. So we'll talk about that coming up. Andy?
Cambrell, thanks so much. We live in a highly connected digital world, and threats to that world in the form of cyber attacks are growing by the day.
That's right. Channel 2 Investigates begins a special series on cyber threats that Houston faces, threats much bigger than the usual hacks that we tell you about.
And as Channel 2 investigator Joel Eisenbaum shows us, our oil and gas industry is an especially high-profile target with potential impacts that could affect all of our lives in one way or another.
I have been in just the Southeast Texas region since I was 4 years old. I would be lying if you don't think about it, but I'm not afraid. No, I wouldn't say I was scared.
Dana Hickman, with her husband and 2 young kids, lives in the shadows of some of the largest refineries on the Gulf Coast. You could say she's acutely aware of what's happened the last couple of years. In Baytown, in Crosby, in Deer Park.
If there's an explosion, if there's a power outage, what am I going to do?
For the Hickmans, it's not a matter of if, but when. When will their luck run out?
Our town has an alarm system set in the case that there is an issue in any of the plants or refineries near us. The alarm goes off every Wednesday at 4 p.m.
So while Dana hopes for the best, she's preparing for the worst.
We have a backpack that has a solar panel on it that in the case that there is a power outage, we can charge our cell phones.
A potentially catastrophic failure.
Camping materials are probably the most useful for survival material.
A massive explosion.
It's very nice to be able to take care of my family and know that I'm not going to be pressed in an emergent situation with no food.
Or a life-threatening release of toxic chemicals. The U.S. is the world's leading oil producer, and Houston is at the heart of it, with 10 refineries producing more than 2.5 million barrels per day. Add in dozens of chemical plants, and you've got a target-rich environment for cyber attacks.
The threats are real, and they are happening.
Petroleum and chemical refining is a complicated multi-level process with risks up and down the production chain. Like other industries, oil companies started using the internet in the 90s to connect their networks, and in the process, expose themselves to cyber attacks.
These control systems were not originally designed with cybersecurity in mind.
3 groups are responsible for the bulk of industrial cyber attacks.
Hacktivists, ransomware attackers, and nation states.
Hacktivists want to demonize companies, damage their reputations. Ransomware attackers will take control of a company's operations until that ransom is paid. But nation states may represent the biggest threat, with armies of computer scientists hunting for weaknesses and ready to attack.
The notion of a nation state attacking another country's infrastructure is not a phantom. It's not a myth. It is true. And what is happening today is cybersecurity is being viewed as a weapon of war.
It's not far-fetched, no. But again, the probability of that would be low.
Houston's FBI field office is very aware of cyber threats against the oil and gas industry, but agents don't think a doomsday-type attack is likely here.
In most cases, I would bet that foreign governments would not want to engage in that activity on U.S. soil. It doesn't mean that it couldn't happen, but it's just the probability, in my opinion, is low.
Still, cybersecurity experts say these facilities need to be ready.
There's still a lot of work to be done. We're not there yet, but I'm confident that we can stay ahead of the bad guys.
If not, Dana Hickman says her family will be ready.
I'm not scared because I'm prepared.
The oil and gas industry is not the only enticing target for cyber attackers. Next Thursday night at 10, we're going to take a look at how an attack on our power and transportation grids could cripple the city for weeks. Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Joel. Well, singing their way to stardom, the story of 4 guys making their way through Jersey.
We are talking about the music story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, how long Jersey Boys will be playing in Houston.
And Birds of Prey hits theaters this weekend. What the actors are saying about the stunts and empowering women.
Tonight on NBC.
Now, they were just 4 guys from Jersey. That is, until they sang their very first note. And now you can hear some of their greatest hits right here in Houston. The Tony Award-winning musical Jersey Boys is now playing at the Hobby Center. So here to tell us about this amazing show is John Hacker and Eric Chambliss. Thanks for being here today, you guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, for sure.
So can you tell us about Jersey Boys?
Yeah, I mean, so Jersey Boys is a story about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, 4 guys from Belleville, New Jersey, who grew up together and through trials and tribulations became one of the best-selling rock groups of all time and eventually made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And it's, sorry, go ahead.
No, please. That's what mainly what's it about.
That's the summary.
Yeah, that's the summary. That's the summary.
It's pretty amazing because there's actually in the show 4 seasons and each band member tells their perspective of the story.
Yeah, you have 4 very different guys who all contribute something very different to the group. And you know, it's great to work with the 3 other guys, and we each bring a very different flavor to what the person is that we're representing. And what's amazing is the story behind it and how it took each one of their skill sets to bring together the group that launched them into fame and brought out the hits, and then you know, through those extra obstacles, gave them extra opportunities to succeed.
And the songs are so amazing. How do you guys feel when you're on stage and you sing someone's favorite song and you just see them, their face light up and they cheer so loud because they're like, I was waiting for this song.
Exactly. I mean, there's no feeling like it. Each one of these songs, I mean, the songs you know and love, and the songs that also people really don't know that are Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons song, because this is the only show that I've ever been in that you get recognition applause for a song. And that to me is so amazing because it brings back an emotion, it brings back a moment in their life, and I love that. I love it.
Yeah, nostalgia's on our side. You know, he sings Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and I get to look out in the audience and see people reach for each other's hands, and you know, the memories are there, and it's very clear.
And you guys, it's got to be great to be in such a popular show that just people love. How does it feel to be in such a wonderful musical?
I mean, I feel like there's a responsibility and there's a joy to it. I mean, this show is so amazing and it has such a history. I mean, not only do we have the pleasure of playing these guys who are still walking around and living, so we have a responsibility to hold their legacy, but also the show is so amazing. We love to do it. Yeah, I mean, it's such an amazing piece of art.
It really is. And if you would like to see Jersey Boys for yourself, it is at the Hobby Center starting tonight and it goes through Sunday. Andy?
All right, guys, thanks so much. Some more entertainment news to get to this morning. Bruno Mars is about to join the Disney family. According to Rolling Stone, the singer is taking to the big screen to develop a music film with Disney. Most of the details are still under wraps, but Mars took to social media yesterday to unveil the partnership with the hashtag Mars Meets the Mouse. The singer will reportedly produce and star in this project. This won't be his first film, though. The Grammy winner voiced a character in the 2014 animated film Rio 2. Justin Bieber has dropped new music for his fans. The 25-year-old releasing his new single Intentions last night, along with a powerful new music video. It features Bieber's collaborator on the track, Quavo. The video was shot in an area of Los Angeles that serves as a transitional residency for women and children as they move from emergency shelters to a stable living situation. Intentions is the third single released from Bieber's upcoming album, Changes. The Rolling Stones are back together again. They announced new dates for their No Filter concert tour. The summer gig kicks off in San Diego on May the 8th. Hitting 15 cities, including Austin and Dallas. They will also head north to Canada. The legendary band will end their tour in Atlanta on July 9th. All right, turning to the big screen now, Birds of Prey hits theaters this weekend.
Audiences may notice some very realistic stunt work from the cast, and you won't find a bunch of CGI to make this movie epic. The action-packed film is choreographed by the actors. They say they trained for several months in preparation for the movie. Some of them say they wanted to set an example for other women.
I really wanted to show women and powerful with their own physical selves and the physicality of that, instead of relying on, you know, gadgets or like a lot of superpowers.
It was difficult, but it was worth it.
The actors say some of them had bumps and bruises, neck injuries, leg and foot injuries as well, but they pushed through it all. Nice.
Meteorologist Canberra Marshall joining us now. Boy, I am so looking forward to this weekend. I know a lot of our audiences as well.
It's a great day.
Yeah, it is.
Great day. I'm the bearer of good news always.
Always.
This is the way it works.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at this shot here. This is the click-to-pin shot from Jewel. This is letting you know what a beautiful start to the day it was. And it's the kind of day you want to go out and take a picture, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what this guy did.
Oh.
Asher. That's the same suit
him.
that his daddy wore. His daddy wore that same suit 22 years ago.
That is
and
so
Asher's
cute.
feeling it, isn't he? He is feeling it. I love that. I love that picture. That's great. Thank you, Marie. I think your mom, right? That's a great shot. Thank you. Kaplan Sinus Relief camera shot. Beautiful skyline out there. Temperatures are on the warm side, going up to the upper 60s. 64 now. Hobby 65, Galveston 66 degrees, 65. You notice the winds coming from the southwest primarily, 20, 17, 13 miles an hour, sustained winds. There are gusts a little bit higher, 24 and 23 in Katy and over in Wharton. We're going to continue to see that throughout the afternoon. So be ready for a little bit on the breezy side, but it's going to be comfortable. We've got high pressure down in the Gulf, and we have that flow. That's why we have it from the south and west around that high pressure. A little front, a little stationary bound, or a little front is going to slide onto. It's mostly dry. You won't notice it at all as it moves through overnight into tomorrow. So we're going to have these temperatures moderating, really comfortable. Surface map looks all kind of stuff going on here, but we're concerned only about this area here. And all of that is going to create an opportunity for our next rain, if you will. Moving in, Futurecast model put this in motion for you. This is from this morning. Notice we start to see the rain coming in Sunday night. Showers coming in Sunday night. There's a stationary boundary that's going to be there that helps us on Monday. We continue to have showers around, mostly to the north, but this is going to move around a little bit. And Tuesday morning, it slides to the north, cloudy conditions, but throughout Tuesday, we still have rain into Wednesday, very early Wednesday morning. Like this past week, looks like Wednesday's going to be the schmutziest day. Going into Thursday, moving on out of here by Thursday, but the rain is going to stick around, and some of those days could be on the heavy side. When Futurecast model looks at this by Wednesday, these purples go go with the 2 inches. This goes with the 3 inches. So that's to the north of Houston, according to this model for now. But as we go through Friday, as that front moves on through and the rain associated with it, you can see there is a chance for some heavy rain showers as a result of all that. Exact track radar is on the quiet side. We're going to go up to about 70 degrees today. And then as you look for the 10-day forecast, the changes that are going to be happening here, temperatures are going to moderate and go up. 70, mid-70s once again as we go to the end of the week, but those rain chances are pretty hefty throughout the middle of the week, and then we clear out for Friday, the day of love, Valentine's Day, of course. Everybody celebrates that, don't they? I think they do.
Or Single Awareness Day, as people call it.
Single Awareness Day. I've never heard it that way because I've never been single on Valentine's Day.
The day of love.
There you go. It's always a day. Enjoy. And then we're going to clear things out. You know, this is pretty nice on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
All right, Kimber, thanks so much.
Looking forward to that. Well, back to basics. HEB is here to teach us some simple dishes you can whip up in the kitchen.
For the day of love.
Oh, yeah.
It is cooking time with HEB. We are here with our good friend Chef Linda in Studio B. Always nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So today we are going back to the basics.
Definitely. I read an article that the average American does not have confidence in the kitchen, and they only know how to cook 5 items without a recipe. So I thought, let's get back to the basics. Now, there are recipes on Click to Houston, but we are going to do some simple stuff today with pasta. First off, over in my meat market, I picked up a chicken queso.
Ooh.
Sausage. So for time's sake, I cook some up, and all you're going to do is cook up the sausage. I took it out of the casing so that it's very loose, but if you want to cook it in the casing and cut it, you can later. And then I've found the pasta from Italy. This is great. This pasta takes 3 days to dry, and it cooks up a little bit longer than average pasta that you can get in the Cooking Connection. And I found tomatoes, just a simple Italian tomato. We're going to put in there. And why not grab me some spinach?
I'd be happy to. Adds some nice color in.
So, and the spinach is going to wilt down when it cooks with the tomatoes, but then the best part is that balsamic. Now, in the Cooking Connection, we have a Central Market balsamic. It is a 4-leaf. The older it is, the longer it sits in the barrels, and if you just turn it straight up, it might just slowly drizzle. It's going to get a little sweeter the longer that it sits in the barrel. So the longer it's in there, the better flavor. Put as little or as much as you want, and that's going to be it for your pasta dish. But I, of course, and I think you are too, a truffle lover.
Yes.
Check this out. This is a truffle Parmesan cheese. So we can actually then sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on there too. And what a simple meal. These are items we carry in the Cooking Connection. $2 off any of the truffle items, from the truffle zest down to the truffle oil. Balsamic vinegar. Now, the fun part about the balsamic is when you buy it, you do get a sauce for free. And the fun part is we have what's called La Sauce. This is one of our Quest for Texas winners. It is a white wine and lemon butter. So we're going to let that warm up, but the whole thing is I'm going to put it on asparagus. And the teaching part is going back to the basics. A lot of folks ask, why is my asparagus so tender and crisp? When it's in the oven, if you notice right here, this looks overdone. It looked like this when I pulled it out, but as it sat and it waited to be served at the table, it continues to heat. So undercook your vegetables so you'll end up with a nice bright green crisp asparagus versus a overdone asparagus. So you just warm up the sauce, and this is the best thing about the La Sauce. You can put it on asparagus. It's $4.99 a package. I would saute mushrooms and put it in there and put it over chicken.
I mean, that's restaurant quality right
It is, and they're in smaller bottles, so they're a one-time use, so they're not going to go back into your fridge and you're going to wonder what to do with it.
Linda, looks great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For a look at these recipes, just head on over to our website, clicktohouston.com.
8th and 9th.
Good morning. Well, I'm sure you've heard people warning about not to get cold, or you might catch a cold. And don't go outside with wet hair because you could get sick. But as health reporter Haley Hernandez reports, some of these old wives' tales may not be true.
Baylor College of Medicine tells me patients are even asking questions about the coronavirus, which is not in our area. So unless you're traveling to places where it exists, you're not going to get it. Myths and misconceptions are common, though, in your health. So let's get some things straight.
Your parents always told you these are bad. Are they? Like, don't cross your eyes or scowl your face. It'll freeze and stay that way. Physician assistant Isabel Valdez says that's false, but we won't tell your kids.
They're both not true. Cross eyes can happen because, or a lazy eye is a medical condition.
Ever heard this one? If you jump in the pool immediately after eating, you'll get sick.
So you do want the food to settle, but it's not necessarily a truth in that it's always going to happen. No.
She says cracking your knuckles won't do anything either, but make a cringy noise. And believe it or not, balding is out of your control, even if you've heard wearing a hat will make you that way.
Well, guys can wear a cap to hide it, but they're not going to wear it to lose it.
And this time of year, she says she's always hearing people believe they caught a cold simply by being cold, but that's impossible.
Usually what happens is that because people are cold, they step indoors, they stay with a lot more people, and there's always that one person who might be sick and have the sniffles, and that person is highly contagious and gets other people sick.
But doesn't heat escape from your head? This one has to be true.
No, it's not true. It's not true. But I do recommend wearing caps and hats because they look nice. And especially if you're running and exercising outdoors, protecting yourself is not a bad idea.
Since it is Heart Month, let's also talk about what there is to know about heart disease. Have you ever heard that your left side will hurt if you're having a heart attack? That's half true. In men, that can happen. In women, it's not always the case. Heart disease in women can be as simple as nausea and discomfort. It's not always obvious and intense. I'm health reporter Haley Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Haley. Channel 2 News at noon starts right now.
Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News at noon.
A massive mess on the Southwest Freeway. A big rig full of pork products overturns in Rosenberg. Right now at noon, the driver explains what caused that crash and how he escaped from the truck. An emotional tribute for an honorary officer who inspired people around the country. The ceremony held for the late Abigail Arias a year after she was sworn in as a Freeport police officer. A.J. Hinch breaking his silence, the former Astros manager addressing the sign stealing scandal for the first time since he was fired. But we begin with that crash in Rosenberg. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Sirota. Hazmat crews have been hard at work for several hours now after this 18-wheeler overturned on the Southwest Freeway, spilling pork product all over the road. Channel 2's Vincent Crivelli has more on those efforts and a first-hand account from the man behind the wheel of that truck.
Good afternoon. This single vehicle crash happened about 7 hours ago, and you can see workers are still here cleaning it up. Now, the semi-truck was towed away, but there is still a lot of work to do, including more pig parts to pick up. The semi-truck mangled, windshield shattered, broken hood, and metal container cracked, with 42,000 pounds of pig parts spilling out.
I'm probably going to go to the hospital. My neck really starting to hurt.
The driver had some visible injuries.
Yeah.
His arm sliced in 3 places.
I'm a little cut up here and there. He got hurt. His little leg got hurt.
His dog Whopper didn't have much to say. However, he was in good spirits.
Whopper, good boy.
The truck driver didn't provide his name, but he blames the crash on another driver.
Like literally on that curve, just cut me off. And it didn't just cut me off, it almost sideswiped me.
Then the truck rolled and slammed into the ground. He became trapped inside.
So I started smashing the window until I got out.
You were worried there might be a fire, an explosion?
Yeah, I was getting him. I just started smashing it with whatever I had metal.
He kicked his way to freedom thanks to these steel-toe boots. Then he became a spectator as his truck was chained up, pulled up, and flipped over. After his truck was towed away, workers began scooping up load after load after load of pig parts and debris, then dumping them in an empty container. No doubt a messy situation. However, it could have been much worse. The driver thankful he and his pup will live another day. I also want to point out that traffic is down to 1 lane and backed up. The truck driver says he was taking this load of frozen pigs from Illinois to the valley. And guys, I think it's safe to say that these pigs won't be making it to the market. Reporting in Fort Bend County, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
We have this just into our newsroom. Houston police have just released the name and the mugshot of a suspected drunk driver who's accused of hitting and killing a man on a scooter. 57-year-old Carlos Lopez Obispo now in jail and charged with intoxication manslaughter. That crash happened on Bel Air near Renwick last night. Police say the victim was waiting at the bus stop when he was hit. He later died at the hospital. The Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is sharing new details on a deadly crash that we've been tracking all morning. They say Lawrence Steptoe died after drifting into oncoming traffic last night and crashing head-on into another driver on FM 2234 near FM 521 in Fresno. Investigators tell us her 9-year-old daughter was in the back seat and was not hurt. The driver of the other vehicle is in the hospital. We want to remind you about construction starting again tonight that caused some major headaches last weekend. Crews will get to work again on the West Loop at the Southwest Freeway. Starting tonight at 9 o'clock, northbound lanes on 610 and southbound lanes at the Southwest Freeway will be shut down. They won't reopen until 5 a.m. Monday morning. The construction is set to last through the end of the month. We've posted everything you need to know about this traffic alert, including a closer look at these alternate routes. It's all on click2houston.com. Okay, so traffic may be a nightmare in that area, but our weather certainly is not. After 2 cold days, the sun is shining bright, and Cambrell, it is shaping up to be a beautiful afternoon.
I'll bet that if we hop into your convertible and head down I-45, it's not going to be a problem in the world.
My friend, let's go.
And look at that. That's a beautiful
Gorgeous.
shot. Is that, man, God's been painting. Hey, notice anything different? Iceland is gone. That means 9 degrees is gone and got more parking space for you to go down to Moody Gardens. 67 degrees at Bush Intercontinental, 68 in Galveston. The winds are from the southwest. They will continue to be that. South-southwest now at 16 miles per hour sustained. So no, it's going to be on the breezy side today. There's a low water alert down in Galveston. The boaters are most concerned about that until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. 2 to 3 foot seas. The bays are light chop. High tide is going to be again at 4:56 this afternoon. So for the boaters, that's good to know. Right about 66, 67 degrees for your high temperature as far as the air is concerned. Water temperature, a little bit cooler. Temperatures, if you're going to head down there throughout the day, let's just say mid-60s. Sunshine is going to be around a lot. We're going to see that change at south winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. You already know that's the case. Changes are coming, though. We'll take a look at that in the 10-day forecast just ahead.
All right, Cambrell, thanks so much. Now to the latest on the coronavirus crisis. Americans being evacuated from China are scheduled to arrive in San Antonio today. They're scheduled to land at Lackland Air Force Base in the next 20 minutes. The CDC says as many as 250 people on board that plane are coming from the epicenter of the outbreak and will be quarantined for 14 days. Here at home, State Representative Gene Wu will be in Southwest Houston this afternoon to clear up any rumors about the coronavirus in Chinatown. He will make his remarks at 2 o'clock at the Dunhuang Plaza on Bel Air Boulevard. Now to new questions raised by the head of the Democratic Party about the chaos that unfolded at the Iowa caucuses. This all comes as candidates are crisscrossing New Hampshire ahead of that state's primary and gearing up for another debate. NBC's Morgan Radford has the latest.
Mixed messages in New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders looking to move past the caucus chaos.
We've got enough of Iowa. I think we should move on to New Hampshire.
While Pete Buttigieg is focusing on the results.
Well, it's fantastic news to hear that we won. First of all, I want to say Senator Sanders clearly had a great night, too, and I congratulate him and his supporters.
The only thing that is clear, both sides are claiming victory.
What I want to do today, 3 days late, is to thank the people of Iowa for the very strong victory they gave us at the Iowa caucuses on Monday night.
We are absolutely electrified by the energy that we are coming here with and by the extraordinary validation of this campaign's vision that we had in Iowa.
We caught up with Sanders on the trail on Thursday.
This process run by the Iowa Democratic Party has been a disaster, unmitigated disaster.
Everyone wants to know, are you claiming victory in Iowa?
Well, from where I come from, Morgan, when you get 6,000 more votes than your opponent, from where I come from, that sounds like a victory to me.
Overnight, the Iowa Democratic Party released what they say are the full results. But the national DNC chair has already called for a re-canvass in Iowa. And NBC News is not calling the race. The head of the DNC speaking out on MSNBC overnight.
In all likelihood, that's not going to affect the national delegate math. There are over 2,000 or so state delegate equivalents.
As for the next set of votes, the latest Monmouth University poll shows Buttigieg closing in on Sanders in New Hampshire, with Joe Biden and Senator Elizabeth Warren trailing behind. But that same poll also shows only about half of likely primary voters have their minds made up.
That was Morgan Radford reporting. Today, a visitation will be held for fallen Liberty County Deputy Richard Whitten. The service is this evening at the Neal Funeral Home in Cleveland. It starts at 5 o'clock. His funeral will then be held tomorrow morning at the Sanctuary Church, which is also in Cleveland. Services start at 11 a.m. Deputy Whitten died from an apparent heart attack on Monday. He was recovering after being shot in the line of duty in May of last year. Former Astros skipper A.J. Hinch is breaking his silence over the sign-stealing scandal for the first time since he was fired. The former manager sat down with Major League Baseball's Tim Verducci one-on-one. He opened up about the idea of the Astros' 2017 title being tainted, saying everyone will have to draw their own conclusions. In a clip tweeted out by the MLB Network, Hinch also admitting to Verducci that he heard the banging and didn't do enough to stop it.
You have to be hearing the banging going on, correct?
Yeah, no, I heard it. I don't think you process it right away. Is like you hear a lot of things, but I heard it.
So at some point, though, you begin to process what's going on here. And you said, obviously, you know it was wrong. The question is, why don't you step in at that point and say, guys, knock it off?
I wish I would have.
A.J. Hinch was fired in the wake of the scandal, along with GM Jeff Luhnow. Dusty Baker was tapped to replace Hinch, while James Click was chosen to be the new GM. Today marks 1 year since Freeport's pint-sized crime fighter was sworn in as an honorary police officer. Abigail Arias became a light of hope to other tiny cancer fighters. Although she's no longer with us, the 7-year-old's legacy lives on and is being honored with a special tribute today. The organization Saving a Hero's Place unveiled the honor chair built in Abigail's memory. The chairs are built and given to the agency of fallen first responders to help fill the void felt by colleagues.
You were an inspiration to law enforcement across the nation. You brought light to a profession that can sometimes feel dark. We thank you for being a hero to those who walk the thin blue line. We'll take it from here.
The Freeport police chief attended the unveiling to receive the chair. We will have more on this emotional ceremony and Abigail's impact coming up in our evening newscasts. Trouble for the future of space. NASA announcing new safety concerns with the spacecraft that was designed to carry NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. The price of being TikTok famous. 4 airport workers pay a hefty price after a video they filmed on the clock goes viral. Next on Channel 2 News at noon.